Go. All right. Today we have Drake. This guy is a Grand Slam client. He came on board looking to improve his health, his nutrition. He was struggling with some high blood pressure. His doctor immediately said, "You have super high blood pressure. You need to deal with this now. It's either take care of it yourself or start with some medication." He was completely against that. This guy is such a hard worker. He's an entrepreneur, a philanthropist. He's bought, sold multiple businesses very successfully. And so he's traveled, he's moved, he's done all the things that your typical, my type of client works and does all the time. So I wanted to bring him on to talk about what we did together. So, Drake, introduce yourself. Who are you and what brings you to our call today?
Hey, I appreciate you having me on today, Brian. Yeah, so my name is Drake Wolf. I am, like you said, an entrepreneur, a philanthropist. I own multiple businesses. And what originally brought me to Brian in particular was what he said. The focus was mainly on my health. I had become financially successful and I had become successful and abundant in the vast majority of the other portions of my life. But unfortunately, it came at a cost to my health and my stress levels and everything were super high. So I reached out to you, Brian, and now here I am, just a little over a year later, 60 pounds down. So
Been incredible journey, and we started talking and we talked about the nutrition, the fitness, other lifestyle health behaviors. So let's set the stage, so to speak. Where was Drake at when he first reached out? Your body, what you were feeling? There was certainly stress.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely, man. I honestly, I was a different person. So when about a year ago, when I reached out to you, I was extremely stressed out with work. My blood pressure was very high. I was getting very little sleep. I had little to no physical activity in my life. I was dedicating no time or money or um, any sort of
It's work,
excessive amount of
work, work,
energy.
work.
Yeah, no work towards my health, no work towards the focus on that. And yeah, that's pretty much where I was, man. I was at the lowest point in my life. I was actually, unfortunately, also struggling a bit mentally during that time. So
Right, right. And so what were some of the things that we started doing that started making almost an instant change? In the first week or two, you felt substantially better. What was some of that we started doing?
yeah, so well, you introduced a whole host of food groups to my diet that drastically changed the way that I was eating. So I was eating a lot of whole grains, fruits, veggies, making sure that my calories in versus calories out were on point. And then the major thing I would say, other than the diet, was the consistency for exercise. So I didn't jump right into the I didn't dive right into the shark pit or anything like that. We started off slow, and I started walking and getting my steps every day, and that really started to make a significant impact.
Right. I remember you wanted to sign up for this super bodybuilding gym, and I said, Drake, I don't know if that's the best idea. We just need to move, and then we
Yeah,
could start doing more stuff as we get going, because you hadn't been moving a lot. And so therefore just movement in and of itself was super important in our process. So
yeah,
we did get some strength training in, and that certainly helped substantially with your body reshaping itself, burning body fat and such. So we became very calorie aware, basics of nutrition, and became very calorie aware, started better portion control, food
yes.
combining, having different foods that you enjoy eating, and then fit them into your life. We also were juggling a couple other things, some stressful events in the background, but we still kept going back to what does Drake want. And so what was that underlying drumbeat that kept the process going for you?
I think that mainly the obviously consistency from you and the ability for you to every day check up on me and make sure that I was doing what I was doing. The texts, the phone calls, the constant communication from you, and the at the very beginning that really helped me set the stage for myself to be more accountable for myself. And then as time went on, as I was, I felt more comfortable becoming more accountable with myself. Honestly, it was just the drive to see how far I could take it and see how healthy I could become using the newfound information from you and your program.
Right.
So that was the main drive.
You got momentum happening. Now, none of it was
Yep.
overly complicated. It wasn't these
Yep.
weird fad diet things. You were able to still be social and enjoy yourself and even travel
Yep.
as well.
Yep.
So we're down 60 pounds. What does your doctor say now when you go in to see the doctor? Because in the beginning, let's talk about that conversation the doctor had. What was it that she clearly said to you?
Yeah. So I was 29 years old. I had just accomplished pretty much my main life dream, and but I was deeply and profoundly unhealthy. So I went into the doctor's office, and she sat me down and pretty much said, "Hey, you need to change pretty much everything in your life physically, because your stress is way too high. Your blood pressure is insanely high for how old you are. You're 100+ pounds over where your mark is, like BMI wise, and you just need to get your life on track." And that was difficult to hear, especially as a 29-year-old man who had just become very successful. And Yeah, it was hard to hear that if I didn't get my health in order, none of the stuff that I've done up until this point would have mattered. So,
Right, right. And having a GT Shelby Mustang wouldn't matter either, right?
no, no, not at all.
And some of our conversations, we actually learned that there wasn't a congruency around what your lifestyle was of who Drake actually was. You got sucked into this say rat trap of the gotta business, gotta perform, have to all these things that people get worked up into. And when we're able to pause and start focusing inward on yourself, what were some of the changes that happened through that process?
Yeah. So, like you said, I think every remotely successful business owner, you get caught up in the keeping up with the Joneses thing, where you want a big house, you want nice cars, you want to, be a little flashier. And I got caught up in that, unfortunately. And what happened is it created a lot of stress and pressure for me that was unnecessary. And I hadn't taken the time to mentally and physically focus on myself. So when we were going through this process, being able to really take a moment, refocus myself on my mental and physical health. I started realizing, like you said, that a lot of the physical things in my life, the materialistic things, I did not need,
Right,
and I didn't want that life.
right,
So I shed that for the very most part, and decided to live a simpler, more
right.
content life. And honestly, I feel better than I have in a very long time.
Right, right. Responsibility does weigh you down.
It does.
And
Yeah.
just talked about how you're actually an F-150 guy.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, exactly. So I was driving a sports car that was way too expensive for me, and it just didn't make sense in my lifestyle. When in reality,
right,
I was just a truck guy. So getting healthy is it goes way beyond just being physically healthy. The more physically healthy that you become, especially in your situation where you kind of are extremely involved in the process. And we had conversations that were outside of your realm of expertise, but you had them with
yeah,
me anyways.
yeah,
And that was a really awesome thing to experience, to be able to kind of call you as a friend too and say, "Hey
right,
man, I'm not doing so well.
right,
What do you suggest?"
right.
So yeah, definitely awesome.
Oftentimes, the health, nutrition, fitness are the first three things that come in when people work with me. But then there's so many other layers to the onion. We're humans, we're complex creatures. There's a lot of stress management, time management, there's relationship things, there's all these external pressures that are coming in, and then not only do we have the external, I remember there was many zeros behind your responsibilities at the in the career that you're at. It was a more than significant amount of money you're responsible for, or even $100,000 felt like $100 bill in that amount of money, and so there was a lot of stress there. We had to talk about some of that stuff, some of the relationship stuff, and how you internally were responding to that and being impacted by that, which was tremendous. Like to be honest, like you just kept as one thing would come up because you started dealing with yourself and what was going on. All these things started showing up because there was friction now, and you had to deal with change and what is it that you want.
Yep, absolutely. That's exactly what occurred. And for a moment, I realized that I had opened Pandora's box when I started to, heal from these things and
Right.
focus on bettering my life in every aspect of the word, and not just physically. I think that had a severe impact on my physical health as well. I don't think I would have been able to continue along the process because a lot of people give that stuff up. When you're busy,
Right.
it happens. But when you focus on everything, you focus on the mental aspect, the physical aspect, the emotional aspect of it, how it's affecting you, and you get to
Right.
the root of it all and you fix it. It's a lot easier to become physically healthy when your mind and
Yes.
your soul is right. So, yeah.
110% agree with that. Now we went pretty good for a couple months, and then what has all of that equipped you with for the last couple months that you've been, you reached out again, you're like, Brian, here's where I'm at, and this was a result of some of the things that we worked on. So where are we at now as a result of you just all the things you stepping up to the plate and starting to make things better for you?
Yeah, man. I'll tell you where we're at. So where we started was 285 pounds, 160 over 110.
Yeah.
My blood pressure. I am now at 225. My blood pressure is just under 120 over 80, normal. And the drastic differences between what I had then and what I had now are three major categories: my stress and mental health levels, or my mental my the mental strain I put on myself and the stress levels have come down significantly. The way in which I eat and approach my diet and the nutrition that goes into my body is just much more thoughtful. So when I shop now, I shop around the ring of the
Right.
shopping of the store. I eat a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, a lot of whole grains. I'm very cautious about my caloric deficit to make sure that I can continue to lose weight and or maintain weight.
Right.
All the knowledge that you gave me definitely kickstarted the ability for me to really dive deep into understanding what the macronutrients are that my body needs, what I actually need to be successful physically. And then after that, it was making sure that I was exercising consistently. So that was difficult. That started off with walks. That started off with 30, 45-minute walks. And then
Walks, stretching because you started moving a lot more. So
yeah,
you needed to stretch and stay loose.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. Stretching, walking, and then elevated walking up and down hills. And I just slowly started to progress to where I went from not being able to walk to the mailbox without being winded to walking 5 to 7 miles a day,
Yeah.
and working out 5 times a week. So,
And some people are like, oh, that takes up so much time, but you don't understand. When you are an entrepreneur, business owner, you need space. You need
yes.
time to think, to create the vision, or subconsciously run through the situations that are going on to find better solutions. So walking and being able to just focus on on that, you were able to start to create answers and find solutions within yourself, which is we all have the answer inside. It's just it's blocked. And
Yep.
there's just a lot of things that block people up. So Drake, you have crushed it. Do you happen to have that shirt that you had showed me the other day?
Yeah, I don't. Oh, man,
Not around.
I
Well,
don't have it with me, but I'll send you a picture of it with me
yeah.
holding. Yeah,
Now
it's
the this thing it literally when you're outside when we talked and you fluffed it and it literally I just thought like I hope that there's not a strong gust of wind because it might blow him away. It was like it was
yeah,
significantly different, and that in and of itself creates a ton of body confidence and just so much energy for you. So wrapping this up, Drake, if you were talking to yourself back when you were is struggling with your health or someone else that might be watching this, what would you tell them and advice would you give to them?
this is simpler than you think. It can be simplified. We are told all of our lives that things like this, that making drastic life changes in your physical health, your mental health, spiritual health, all that, we're told that it's difficult. It is not. It is much more simple than people realize. What it takes is consistency, small percentages of working towards a common goal for several months in a row. That is it. Just stick to it every single day, no matter what you tell yourself, no matter if you're tired or you wake up or you're feeling lazy or you can't do it because you're busy or work's not going right, business isn't going right, family's not going right. None of that matters if you aren't here to enjoy it all. So, what I would say from a deeply unhealthy man to now a very healthy man, I would say get up, put your shoes on, and go make it happen every single day for several months. And I promise you, you will feel so much better about yourself and your life.
Yeah. Sounds like a typical trip of an entrepreneur and business owner. One step,
It is.
one day, one moment at a time to overcome all the obstacles that show up in front of you and how do we navigate those successfully long term. And that's where I can come in and play and have fun with you with this, right? We had a really enjoyable time working together. I
We
heard
did.
what Drake said. I understood where he was at. I've worked with a lot of people for years, came up with an effective solution that was simple and easy to replicate, create consistency around. And then every week we checked in to make sure that the process was going on and that it was, you think of me as like, I was like your business coach for your health in a sense. And we just
That,
kept moving forward. So it went wonderful. So Drake, I really want to appreciate it shows my appreciation for showing up for yourself. Most importantly, that's it. I was just able to facilitate on you deciding that this was important to you and that you wanted to take control of your health, and all the rest comes in after that decision. So if you watch this and you're inspired by Drake's choice to take his health into his own hands and need some help, support, I'd love to help you. My website, brianprana.com, is there. You can check the link in the descriptions. And I'm literally like a phone call away or a text away. As Drake said, we have had a significant amount of connection and texting and conversation to help ensure that he's empowered to never have to get into that situation again. And he can be his best self for all the important people in his life now, right? Because you've got a lucky lady that you're moving on to the next phase of your relationship with, and then also moving into even a bigger next phase of life. I double dog dare you to join my crew of having 4 kids.
yeah,
But
no,
they're fun. They're a lot. So, well, Drake, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And off we go.
awesome. Thanks, Brian.
Yep, thank you.